Hey everyone, and welcome. So India's annual budget is out, and it's packed with all these huge numbers and big plans. But let's be honest, the only thing that really matters is, what does it mean for your wallet, for your family, your savings, your future? Well, let's unpack it together.
Exactly. This is the core question, right? It's so easy to get lost in all the headlines and the jargon, but we're going to cut through all that noise and focus on what's actually in it for you. From the taxes you pay to the schemes that could give your family a helping hand, let's get right into it. Okay, first up, the big one. The question on everyone's mind. Taxes. Did your take-home salary just get a little bit bigger? Well, it might have. But this year, it all comes down to a choice you get to make between two different paths. So take a look at this. On the left, you've got the old regime. This is the one many of us are used to, where you can lower your taxable income by claiming deductions for things like investments, insurance, or house rent. But on the right, you have the new regime. The tax rates here are lower, but, and this is the catch, you have to give up most of those deductions. Basically, the government is kind of nudging us towards the simpler, more straightforward path on the right. Okay, so what does this actually mean for your bank account? Let's take an example. Imagine you earn about 10 lakhs a year, but you don't really have a lot of big investments or loans to claim as deductions. If you opt for that new, simpler tax regime, you could end up saving around 25,000 rupees a year. That's a pretty nice chunk of change to have back in your pocket.
So who's this new system really for? Well, it's a fantastic deal for young professionals who are maybe just starting their careers and don't have a lot of deductions yet. It's also perfect for anyone who just prefers a no-fuss, straightforward tax process. You know, if you're someone who hates collecting documents and doing complicated math, this new regime is probably going to be your best friend.
All right, so we've talked about the money coming into your wallet. Now let's flip the script. Where's all that tax money that you and I pay actually going? This is where we get a really clear idea of the government's biggest priorities for the whole country. This chart right here breaks it all down for us. And wow, look at that biggest slice of the pie. A huge amount is going into infrastructure. That's followed by defense, then agriculture, health, and education. You can really think of this as the nation's official shopping list for the next year. So why does that massive infrastructure slice even matter to you? Well, it's not just about concrete and steel. This spending translates directly into things that affect us every single day. Better roads to drive on, faster and more modern trains, and a more reliable power supply. And maybe most importantly, it creates jobs. Lots and lots of jobs for everyone from engineers to construction workers. Next up, that second largest piece of the pie goes to defense. And what this boils down to is pretty simple. It's all about keeping our country safe. This money goes towards everything from buying new equipment for our soldiers to using advanced technology to secure our borders. It's a major investment in national security. Okay, so beyond those massive big-ticket items, the budget also includes very specific help aimed directly at different groups of people. Let's take a look at some of the new schemes that are designed to give a leg up to families, farmers, and young people. And here's where it gets really personal again. For our farmers, there's a new and improved crop insurance scheme, which is a huge deal. For women who are thinking of starting their own business, there's more funding available for skill development and easier access to loans. For young people, get this, a new national apprenticeship program that actually pays you a stipend while you learn a trade. And for middle-class families dreaming of owning their own home, there's a new affordable housing scheme focused on smaller towns and cities. Okay, now let's tackle a term you probably hear thrown around all the time, fiscal deficit. It sounds super complicated and intimidating, right? But I promise you, the concept behind it is actually really simple. Think of it as the country's annual report card. All it means is this. It's the gap between how much the government earns in a year, mostly from our taxes, and how much it spends on everything. So, whenever the government's expenses are more than its income, that difference, that shortfall, that's the fiscal deficit. And honestly, this is the best way to think about it. Imagine your family's budget for the month. Let's say your total expenses are 50,000 rupees, but your total income is only 45,000. Well, you've got a deficit of 5,000 rupees, and you'd have to borrow that money to cover everything. The fiscal deficit is the exact same idea, just on a much bigger national scale. So how is our national report card looking? Well, as you can see, last year the deficit was at 5.8% of our GDP. This year, the target is to bring that number down to 5.1%. Now, seeing that number go down is really good news. It means the government is planning to borrow less money, which is a key step in helping to keep inflation in check and making sure prices don't spiral out of control for all of us. You know, every budget usually has one announcement that makes everyone sit up and take notice. A bit of a surprise.
And this year was absolutely no exception. There was one really bold move that hints at a major shift in thinking for the future. And here it is, a massive, massive push for green energy. The government is basically rolling out the red carpet with big tax breaks for companies to manufacture electric vehicles and solar panels right here in India. This is a classic double win. It boosts our own local industries and creates good jobs, all while doing something great for the environment. It's a real game changer.
So that's the grand tour of this year's budget. But what's the final verdict? Well, as you can probably imagine, the experts don't all see eye to eye on this. There are kind of two sides to the coin when it comes to the reviews.
On one side, you have a lot of experts giving it a big thumbs up. They love the focus on long-term growth through these huge infrastructure projects and the fact that the government is being financially disciplined. They see it as a strong, solid plan for the future. But on the other side, some critics are a little more concerned. They argue that the budget doesn't do enough to help people with the rising cost of living right now. They were hoping for more immediate relief to help with things like grocery bills and fuel prices.
So at the end of the day, that's what the budget is. A roadmap. It's the government's plan for the year ahead, a mix of big ambitions and careful financial management. The numbers are now on paper, but the real question, the one that truly matters, is whether this plan will translate into a better reality for all of us on the ground. I guess only time will tell. Thanks so much for joining me. I really hope this helped break it all down for you.